Hello, everyone. GM. I'm Nick from the Solana Foundation DevRel team, and today I'm joined with Guy from Latitude.sh. He's the CEO and founder over there, as well as Tim from also from Solana Foundation. Tim is the Validator community lead.
I'm curious, both on a physical side, box security, and also on a virtual, remote access security. How do you ensure the security of the boxes that you manage?
We, as a service provider, a bare metal provider, we set up our servers inside cages, inside tier 3 data centers. So they are fully monitored 24/7. So we make sure nobody has physical access to the equipment. Secondly, we have two-factor authentication implemented to client's account, and so any team members that they add to the dashboard or to the APIs, they have to turn on two-factor. Provisioning the user when it's provisioned the server, they set up SSH provisioning, or they can set up root provisioning as well. But we delete the servers, the password after 48 hours, regardless if they log it into the machine and change the password or not. So we don't store it with us. So if the user lost, or if he didn't write down the password, he would have to reinstall the machine to get access to that, because we just don't store it for them. And when we are providing support to the customer, and when we need account access there, we request permission through a process that we have. So even our team members cannot just log into any account that they want to provide support.
Yeah, I think that's super important. What are some sort of like general security practices you think that any infrastructure provider should be implementing on their end, and then also recommending for their customers then?
Yeah, I think provisioning operation systems from trusted source is it's pretty important, because the provider could just set up an OS that is corrupted, and then the validator go there and set up the private key, which could be really it could be a security concern, right? And one thing that we have is we provide customers the ability to boot their own OS through iPix. So if he has an image that he would like to use, he can just boot through the network, and we install through the automation for him. So he don't have to rely on our predefined customized OS. And I think there's another one that would be avoiding anyone, even the provider team members, to get access to the customer account is super important, because you never know what the intentions of the teams are, right? So we need to make sure the customer is the only one accessing his account.
Can you talk a little bit about key security? You touched on it a bit there, but how can an operator in Solana specifically make sure that their keys are not compromised? What's some good practices there?
Wiping machines after the decommissioning is super important, right? So when you have providers that are not only installing the OS into machines on every customer, when a customer makes an order, it makes really challenging to make sure the keys are not leaked to the next customer, right? If you were doing multiple reinstalls every day, so it's super important to be automated So every time that a machine is an instance is deleted, that the automation pick up, wipe the drive, and make sure it is there nothing else there, and data could not be retrieved to set it up to the next customer.
Just a quick plug there too about Solana specifically. There are three keys, right? One is your identity key, one's your vote key, and one's your withdraw key. That withdraw key never has to touch your box as well. That's a key that gives you access to your funds and shouldn't ever live on the actual server that runs your validator. It's something I've harped on a bunch, but I just want to put it in there just to make sure we mention it here.
Yeah, super important to have your keys in the right place.
Yes, so we need to, Tim, you were saying that even if the server is compromised, if the validator didn't put the withdraw key, they would not have a problem, right?
Cool. Yeah. So I guess my last question is sort of about like a general attack surface, like mitigation for like DDoS attacks, a very common attack against infrastructure providers and servers themselves. As an infrastructure provider, what sort of things do you recommend, or do you even like have for helping to mitigate DDoS attacks against your individual customers?
Yeah, DDoS is super challenging. We saw this recently with the Madlets Mint, right? They were heavily attacked, and they are using Cloudflare, which is super competent to fight these DDoS. But even then, when the attacks are sophisticated enough, or they have a lot of throughput, they can take down any kind of application. So DDoS is about two things mainly. One is you have to have throughput to ingest those attacks, and the second thing, you need intelligence to mitigate those attacks when they are targeting the application. So for throughput, a best practice is the provider has a lot of big ports everywhere distributed across the globe, and you have multiple terabits of traffic that you can ingest at the edge and do not transport these attacks through the network close to the target. So this is a strategy that any DDoS provider takes. They deploy big ports at the edge, and the second thing is distributing DDoS appliances in many places too, so you can mitigate sophisticated layer 7 attacks that are usually, they don't carry a lot of bandwidth, but they use some algorithms to target the application and break it. So you have these Arbor appliances. You have we like to use NS Focus and Nexus Guard, and we deploy both of these equipments in these regions to deal with that kind of attacks.
Can you talk a little bit more about what an operator of a validator can ask or look for, or maybe even help with to help mitigate DDoS? If you're coming to a data center and looking for a place to run your infrastructure, what sort of questions can they ask to be a little bit more educated about these attacks?
Yeah, I think Tim, they can ask how, basically, what's the capacity that the provider has in terms of DDoS, and if they have these ports that are distributed across the globe, or if they are relying on any third party to do the mitigation for them, and if they actually use these appliances. These appliances are really expensive, but they are usually really helpful to mitigate layer 7 attacks. So like I said, it's a matter of throughput and intelligence.
Okay, wow. This video has been jam-packed with so much information. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining today, both Guy and Tim. I guess we'll go ahead and just wrap this up. Thanks again for all the information, and I hope everyone has a great day.
All right, thanks.
Thanks a lot.